All right, back, guys. It's been a while, but yeah, guys. I'll wait for some people to get on here. I'll give you guys some shout outs, and then we'll go ahead and get started, man. Because guys, everything is just crazy. Everything's crazy. Everything's insane. I've been killing it the past week or so with pre-recorded videos, which you guys know I've been kind of slacking on those. Mostly do live streams, but there's just so much going on right now that I feel like I'm just gonna, do my little spitfire session and go from there. So once people join, I will go ahead and let me make sure I'm live on the right channel. I don't see anybody in the chat yet, so that's kind of problematic. And I'm pretty sure I made this thing public. If I didn't, then this is awkward. Okay, there it is. There's the numbers. Damn, that was quite a delay. I was going to say, man, like, damn, I'm just sitting here talking to myself. Could have done it. But anyway, who we got in the building? We got Debbie, we got Justin, we got Heather, we got Darila. There's always like 3 or 4 names I can't pronounce. We got Campaign TB, we got Donnie, we got Nancy. What's going on, people? Long time no talk. Make sure you guys give this a thumbs up on your way in, please. Amanda, sound is good. I've been playing around with the audio for the past like week or so, trying to perfect it. So I'm going to play a couple of videos, so you guys will have to tell me the sound is working on them. Hopefully it is. The sound coming from the desktop, not the microphone. Who else we got? We got Charles, we got AJ, got Air Force Girl. Okay, good. We got a nice little crowd watching here. Must stay hydrated. All right, cool. Let's get started here. I got a little list. I'm gonna start first and foremost with telling you guys about my trip, because I mean, was that like 2 weeks ago already? So as you guys know, I went to New Hampshire for what I thought was going to be my first Trump rally with Right Side Broadcasting, and right as I landed, I found out that the rally was canceled, and then I thought it was going to be a tropical storm. Didn't end up being that, but we still did some live stream stuff just to get my feet wet, get a little bit of experience, which I didn't really need much of, but it's all good. But let me just tell you guys, like, my time up there I loved it. That's my first time up on the East Coast. So I got to go to Massachusetts, which mostly just drove through that. New Hampshire and Maine is where I spent the majority of my time. Let me tell you, Maine has my heart. That state, and I only saw the like tip of it, the bottom southernmost tip. Beautiful state, lots of trees, really green, super nice people. This couple just chilling on the beach. Their house was probably a few blocks from the beach, so they were just sitting there with their chairs. And I was over there taking pictures, just wandering around. They stopped me, called me over, started talking to me, asked me if I was a visitor, just treated me just kind, just real nice, chill, super cool people. So I love Maine. I'm gonna have to get a second house up there. And New Hampshire was the same way. New Hampshire was just cool. I will say that New Hampshire, at least in Portsmouth where I was, kind of had a different little bit of a vibe. It wasn't as laid back, but the people were still nice. They were a little more dressy, I would say, because this was a blue area, obviously, and I'm used to being in a more conservative area. I didn't know what to expect, but I will say this. It had more of a neoliberal vibe than a far left Marxist vibe. So, I mean, that was cool. The people, you get the sense that they're just chill. They have their classical liberal views, and that's fine. I did see one sign that said Fauci for president, and I just tried to unsee it. I should have took a picture of it, but we were driving by. Anyway, my voice is kind of raspy today, guys. I don't know why. I haven't talked all morning. Anyway, so I enjoyed my time up there. Northeast is beautiful. Can't wait to go back, honestly. Now, one other thing before I get started is I want to talk about the COVID 9/11 video. So I posted a video on Facebook probably 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And now that I think about it, I think that's the video that got me put in their digital gulag, because that video got like probably 2 to 3 million views at this point. Now, I can't see my personal Facebook page, but I can go and look at the Mike Nificent page. And that video is blowing up. And people keep messaging me, keep emailing me, because I can't access my page at all. People are emailing me saying, where can I get that video? I can't share it. Facebook fact checked it and it just deletes and I can't share it. Could you send it to me? Thank you so much for making that video. For whatever reason, people think I'm the one that made that video. I did not. In fact, I even credited the guy. I said, credit Joe M in the description. And I think that that's the video that got me kicked off or quarantined. I mean, the page still exists, but who knows? Because that page was taken off, guys. Like I was getting like 2,000 to 3,000 people watching my live streams, and all the videos and articles I shared went far and wide. Like 40 to 50,000 people would see all of my live streams. So anyway, I want to just set the record straight on that Joe M COVID 9/11 video. Joe M is the author of that video, not me. So if you guys want that video, if you want to share that video, because people said they cannot find it on YouTube, you have to search Joe M. If you search COVID 9/11, it won't pop up. It's kind of like that Out of Shadows documentary. Remember that? When that started blowing up and going viral, people couldn't find it because you had to type Out of Shadows, all one word. Same thing with this COVID 9/11. Even if you type it in one word, it still doesn't pop up. You need to go to Joe M's YouTube channel. That's where that video is. So I just want to get that out of the way because people have been blowing me up. Like, no joke, 10 to 15 emails per day. So great video, by the way. If you haven't seen it, for those of you like, what the heck are you talking about? Go check it out. It's like a 9-minute video. Just talked about everything going on in the country and how they're using both COVID-19 and the George Floyd situation to get everything destabilized, which we already knew, but the way that it's narrated is it's just perfect. So there's that. Now, let's talk about, I'm going to start actually with Trump wearing a mask. Okay, Trump, we saw him in the mask, actually, coincidentally, when I was in New Hampshire that weekend and he didn't show up. They showed him like walking down the hallway. I don't know where he was at, some memorial hospital or something. That was the first time he was seen in a mask in public. Well, a couple of days ago, he tweeted a picture of him wearing a mask. And the caption said something like, they say wearing a mask is patriotic, so I'm wearing a mask and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I didn't know what to make of it at first, because for the longest time, this entire time, he was not wearing a mask. And the majority of his supporters, unless there's a reason to not, reason to wear a mask, we're just not really feeling the whole, mandatory face mask orders and you got to wear it and it's going to slow the spread, just the whole lie about this whole COVID hoax. But to see Trump wear the mask and call it patriotic, gotta disagree there. There's nothing patriotic about it, in my opinion. And I really don't know what he's trying to do. I don't know if he's signaling to his supporters like, hey, guys, look, we need to wear the mask so that we can reopen the economy. Right? Like, does that make sense? Like, did he put the mask on and tweet it out to capitulate to the left? I don't think so. The only reason I would think that he's doing it is because he wants us to think it's cool. Go ahead and wear it. We got to compromise, right? Wink, wink. Like, wear the mask for a few weeks. Let's slow the spread. Let's play their silly little game, and then we can open back up. I don't know. But either way, to call it patriotic, I don't know. It threw me off a little bit, because if he's caving on this, is a national mandate coming? I hope not. He kept saying repeatedly that he's not going to issue a federal mandate, because if he did, he knows that that's it. It's game over. Game over. But still, just the optics of it just threw me off. And then saying it's patriotic, I don't agree with it at all, especially because we know that it's being weaponized. We know there's no science at all behind it. Fauci flip-flopped on it. Fauci, what he said the first time with it doesn't make sense for people to wear a mask. It's pointless. The Surgeon General said the same thing. I believe what they said the first time. Not until later on that they flip-flop and say, yeah, you guys should probably wear the mask because the virus is spreading. I mean, come on. First of all, not all masks are created equal. You got the N95 mask, you got the surgical mask, you got bandanas, you got those neck guards that you can just pull up over your nose, which are pretty much like super thin nylon. Like the material's different. Some masks have holes on the side. So it's like they make it sound like as long as your face is covered, you're slowing the spread. Yeah, you might be preventing like droplets when you talk, but if you're walking through the store, you're not talking and you're not spitting in the air. So to make it sound like as long as you're wearing a mask, we're slowing the spread, so everybody should wear a mask. It's like, well, what kind of mask? See, there's no science behind it. There's no justification behind it other than we want to control you. We want to control you. It's not about slowing the spread. It's not about stopping the spread. It's not about protecting the vulnerable. It's none of that. So I just don't see it as patriotic. I think it's just a big, it's a big scam. It's a big scam. Someone said, please discuss Bevel and Beatty. I will. That's actually next on my list. But I still got to get through the mask thing because Florida is getting crazy. Not all of Florida. Let me say this. I'm grateful that I live in a state that is governed by a Republican, somebody who believes in small government, not going to issue statewide orders. He's allowing these counties to handle their business. With that said, it makes the contrast a lot more sharp when I can just drive, 20 miles west and I'll be in Orange County. And then that's Orlando, super blue area. Very different vibe, very different atmosphere. They've been on mandatory masks for weeks, since like late June. But over where I'm at, it's just chill, right? I couldn't even imagine what it'd be like at a state level. But Broward County has decided to make an executive order that says you have to wear a mask inside your residence. I'm not making it up. It sounds like something completely fake, but this is real. They're saying you need to wear a mask while you're inside of your house. I mean, it doesn't take too much common sense to know nobody's going to do that. There's no way for you to enforce it. And it's not practical. You're wasting time by even mentioning that, by even putting that into an executive order, by even putting that on your .gov website. It's ridiculous. But the audacity that they would suggest that they would go that far. Do you guys see this? They continue to tiptoe and creep towards more authoritarian, draconian measures. That's on top of the house arrest in Kentucky. This is happening in red states. Granted, it's blue cities, blue counties, but the blue cities are starting to move further to the left. Florida didn't really have this problem. We don't have Seattle's and Portland's down here. We don't have these little Marxist communist strongholds. We don't have Antifa down here. But when it comes to this virus and the measures they're taking to try to slow the spread and keep everyone safe, they're starting to get a little bit aggressive. I mean, you're talking about wearing a mask inside of your house, telling us that. I mean, that's laughable. But the fact that you're even suggesting it is crazy to me. That's insane. So these masks, man, I'm just sorry. And these retailers, of course, are how they're getting it done. They're like, okay, the governor won't do it. All right, we're going to make it so that you can't come in here and buy food unless you wear a mask. Luckily, because Winn-Dixie fell in line too. Winn-Dixie was the one that I was kind of cheering on because they didn't cave, but they did. I mean, now it's kind of like whatever. It is what it is. You can order your groceries for curbside pickup. You can have them delivered. There's ways around having to do this, because for me, it's the principle. It's the principle of being forced to do something that doesn't do anything except compromise my own health, right? I wouldn't wear a mask if I'm not sick. If I'm sick, if I'm actually sick, like feeling ill, I'm not leaving my house. If I have to leave, it's going to be like I am going to cover my face, or I'm going to try to go at a time where there's not people, like if I'm going to the pharmacy. But if I'm healthy, I'm not going to put on a mask so that someone else feels good, so that someone else has a false sense of safety, especially if they're wearing a mask. It's always the people that are wearing masks that are telling everyone else, you need to put on a mask, getting inside your space. The Karens are getting out of control. We've seen fights break out all over this social distancing and the mask wearing. People are getting really tense. People getting slammed to the ground. I saw a big brawl a few weeks back at some steakhouse in Arkansas. It was pretty violent. Just saying, guys, it's crazy. But I'll move on from the mask. Let me get the super chat first. LD, thank you for the super chat. God bless you. Yay for Winn-Dixie. Well, not so much now. They fell in line. Okay, I think that covered everything, right? The mask orders, Trump wearing a mask, mask indoors. I mean, half the country, you have to wear a mask now. This is crazy. We're not really free around here. And what are Republicans doing about this? What are they doing? I don't hear anything from Rand Paul. Rand Paul is usually really good at speaking out about stuff like this. And I know he's been going hard at Fauci. He's been outspoken on this whole issue. But I didn't hear anything about the couple that's wearing ankle monitors for testing positive. That's insane. That is nuts. Republicans are just dragging their feet. I just don't see anything getting done. Okay, yeah, let's talk about Bevelyn Beatty. Is that how you pronounce her last name? Bevelyn? Bevelyn Beatty. Okay, Bevelyn Beatty went to the Black Lives Matter. I'm not calling it a mural because that's their speak. That's how they describe it. The Marxists, that's how they describe it. De Blasio on them. Oh, look at this nice mural. When you think of mural, you think of artwork that is generally admired. This is not mural. This is communist graffiti on the street. That's what it is. Let's call it what it is. Graffiti. So Bevelyn goes out there with black paint, smears it all over the Black Lives Matter, says Jesus matters. You know, she's on all fours. A cop fell down. His shoulder got messed up, I guess. But the cops, I mean, they had to stop her, but you could tell they were like, we don't really want to stop her. We want somebody to stand up for us. She said, refund the police, which I think most people agree with. It's the minority, the squeaky wheel that gets the grease. It's the very small fringe minority of people that want to defund police. And they just so happen to have a megaphone and have very powerful people behind them. So for her to go out on that mural and smear all that black paint, I think is, I like it. I like it because it's fighting fire with fire. Now, most people's take on this is the same as mine, but I've seen a couple high profile people condemn it and say that she's a clown and she should be locked up for it. I mean, it is what it is. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I just think what she's doing is what needed to happen a while ago, right? Not everybody has the same approach to dealing with the left right now, but I like that she's a firebrand. She'll get in your face, but not in a violent type of way. She's an activist. I like this activism. Standing up for the country, standing up for unity. Black Lives Matter, as I've said 100,000 times already, is nothing but a wicked Marxist organization that's using the guise of black activism to divide and destroy the country. You've seen corporations, retailers, sports leagues all fall in line to push this Marxist BLM agenda. And it's doing nothing but destroying the country, tearing at the fabric. So for somebody to stand up, especially somebody black, that's where their heads just, they just can't take it. It's just a short circuit. They don't know what to do with a black person who doesn't support Black Lives Matter. So it's like, what can you do? What are you You're gonna call her racist. I'm sure they're just calling her crazy on the left. Because I mean, if you were looking at that video without context, it does look a little crazy because she's on the ground screaming and she's like, you know, it looks a little weird. The optics just weren't the best. You'd think she would have like a paint roller or something just to roll over it and like really do the job. But she was like, ah, ah. But hey, more power to her. I like the move. I like the move. Some are calling her a hero. I think that's a bold move on her part. I don't really know how I would define hero, but she did a good job. So I like that. And I guess she's got some, because she got arrested. And I was trying to watch her live stream earlier because it was titled something about a lawsuit against BLM. She's really actually trying to go after BLM, like sue the founders for all of the black people who have been killed at their rallies, at their protests, at their events, their peaceful protests. I can't believe I have to utter these words, guys, but Black Lives Matter has killed a lot of black people. Guys, the truth is stranger than fiction. And I'm not laughing because it's not really a laughing matter. But just the irony of it, it sounds ridiculous to say that an organization called Black Lives Matter has literally taken the lives of black people, and not just black people, black children, innocent, vulnerable children killed. So, I mean, I hope more comes from it, because if we can get a lawsuit together, I don't really know how that would work, building the framework out for that. I have no idea. But that's one way to go about taking out this organization, because they're doing so much damage to this country right now. And they've made it impossible for people to criticize them or have an opposing view. They're literally crushing the dissent right now. People getting beat up, people getting fired. Friends of people who said that they don't support Black Lives Matter, they're getting fired. Family members, this is crazy stuff. Major League Baseball taking a knee. Everybody's just getting real super cringe about black people right now. And it's so fake and over the top, and just, it's disgusting, man. Like, I saw, like, I don't know if it was Associated Press. They're like, we're going to lowercase the W in white and uppercase the B in black from now on. I'm like, yeah, because nothing says solving racism like lowercase white and uppercase black. Like, who is requesting this? This inconsequential, impractical, counterproductive garbage. What is the point? That's all that's happened ever since George Floyd was killed. No, scratch that. Let's go back to when they were founded, their inception. I can't remember off the top of my head if it was Trayvon Martin or Michael Brown. One of those two is what birthed Black Lives Matter. And since then, they have not built a school. They have not put money into black neighborhoods. They haven't built infrastructure. They've done nothing but fundraise for the DNC. They are literally an aggressive fundraising arm of the DNC. They've done nothing. Push some stupid garbage stuff. Oh, we're going to get rid of this and that and that. This is racist, so we need to change that. We need to change the Webster Dictionary definition of racism so that it fits our current agenda. Like, doing stuff that's like, you can't even try to like squint your eyes and try to applaud anything that they've tried to do, because everything they've done has been counterproductive. Everything is opposite, guys, with them, with the left, with the enemy, upside down, twisted, backwards, reversed order. Everything that they claim to stand for, it is the exact opposite. Black Lives Matter is all about destroying black lives. The people who actually think Black Lives Matter, you and I, everybody else, we think all lives matter, because that is true, and that includes black lives, obviously. The only people who disagree with that statement are Black Lives Matter. And coincidentally, they don't care about black lives. It's just like, I'm anti-fascist. I am a proud anti-fascist, but I'm not Antifa. Antifa is anything but anti-fascist. They're modern day brown shirts. They are fascists while calling themselves anti-fascists. You see what I mean? Everything that they say is the exact opposite. It's double speak, just like Planned Parenthood. They're not planning any parenthood. They're terminating unborn children. That's what they're doing. That's why they use that euphemism. They have to, make it sound not so bad. Planned Parenthood, pro-choice, Anyway, not to get on a tangent there. Bevel and Beatty, she's good. She's going after Black Lives Matter, and I hope that she's successful because everything has been politicized and polluted with their garbage. Why is Major League Baseball taking a knee? I mean, I'm really over the whole getting outraged. I was never truly outraged. Like, oh, I'm so outraged. It's such a cliche conservative thing to post online how outraged you are about these players kneeling. We all know why they're doing it. They don't actually believe what they're doing. They're virtue signaling. That's what they're doing. You can't even really be mad at them. They're doing what they think is going to get them some publicity. They're doing what they think will keep them safe from the mob. So it makes sense to me why they're doing it, but I don't support it, obviously. But Major League Baseball, come on. You waited until now to do it. The NFL, I mean, they just ruin everything, man. Everything they touch is just ruined. The Cleveland show, oh, we got to have a black person behind the voice of a cartoon character. Inconsequential stuff, guys. That's it. Changes nothing. Doesn't make any black lives better. In fact, just killing black lives in the process of all this garbage while raising money for Joe Biden. Sick stuff, guys. Moving along. Tucker Carlson. My man Tucker is back. He was out last week, and because of that, I didn't even bother trying to watch Fox News. Anyway, he was back last night, and two things going on with Tucker. Number one, he's facing, I guess, sexual harassment allegations from that chick that he's had her on the show so many times. Her name's like Kathy something. They call her the liberal Sherpa, Crazy Kathy. I think that's the same lady. Anyway, whoever it is, I don't know if it's her or not. Whoever the chick is said Tucker changing into his leather jacket was sexual harassment. And Sean Hannity did the same thing. How convenient. It's almost as if it's the same thing as Brett Kavanaugh. Like, oh, when Brett Kavanaugh is about to be confirmed to the Supreme Court, all of a sudden these chicks come out of the woodworks. I'm not saying that that's what this is. I'm just saying the timing is very convenient for Tucker to be accused of sexual harassment after being on TV all these years. Now, it's not like it's not a thing that's happened before. I mean, Bill O'Reilly, there's been several people. It's common in the industry for whatever reason. But come on, man. We all know that they're going to go to great lengths to get Tucker off of television because he does so much damage to the left. He tells so much truth, and he has a very populist message. Very populist. Tucker hits it out of the park every night, and he's not afraid to call out the Republicans. Again, with the doublespeak, the Republicans that aren't defending the Republic, he calls it out. So he's dealing with that, and also he's being doxxed again. Last year, a bunch of these crazy, violent mobsters surrounded his house, threatened his family, vandalized his property, and sent death threats to him, all this crazy stuff. Well, now the New York Times, some writer at the New York Times is trying to dox him again. These people want blood. These people are evil, man. They're evil. They want blood. They know exactly what will happen if these anarchists, these communists, these violent protesters, peaceful protesters, find out Tucker's address. Now, I'm assuming because he's got money, he's got fences, and maybe his wife's got an AR-15. I hope so. The ultimate equalizer. That's the best, as a side note, that is the best justification ever for an AR-15. You're going to have a bunch of random violent people in mass around your house. What better equalizer can you have than an AR-15? Just saying. So Tucker's being doxxed and dealing with sexual harassment allegations. I don't know if there's charges filed or they just saying it happened. These people are just, man, they just love living in a world full of lies. It's just crazy. Just like what's her name? What's the chick's name? Mary, is it Trump's niece? Mary Trump. Mary Trump gave the most disingenuous interview last week for her book that came out, right? She's like, they were Rachel Maddow was baiting her into it. Let me see if I can find it. We're going to play it if I can find it, guys. Hold on. Because that was so funny. And I meant to make a video about it last week, but there was stuff that was more, I don't know, more pressing. Mary Trump interview. I want to play it just because it was so just fake. Yeah, Rachel Maddow. Hold on, guys. Hold on here. I'm going to have to share my screen here, guys. We got to do it. We got to do it. Where? Ooh. I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on this. I'm going to get this figured out. Application window. Hold on. You guys can see that screen, right? You guys can see that. Okay, I got to stop sharing momentarily. Share screen. Application window. Oh. Chrome tab. Here we go. Share audio. Okay. All right. This is hilarious. Okay, here we go. Let me know if you guys can't hear it.
What I thought was the single weirdest thing in the book, which other reviewers and people who have read it and talked about it have not singled out. But this strikes me as so weird. I've literally woke up in the night thinking about it. I'm sorry. No, it's all right. I wake up a lot anyway. But it's this anecdote where you are being introduced to not the president, but Donald Trump, your uncle at the time, is introducing you to Melania, his wife, who would go on to, of course, to become the first lady. It's on page 163. That you had a terrible done drugs in my life.
Where's the part where she's talking?
So the reason this sticks with me is not just because he told a weird lie about you doing drugs when you didn't do drugs, but when he knew that.
Shut up, Rachel.
Psychologically, that's a.
Yeah, it's also a power play. One, it fits into his favorite narrative. You know, the comeback is much more impressive if you're coming back from a really awful place in the gutter, like being a drug addict, instead of just like having a tough time in life. Just as with his comeback, you know, it was the bankruptcies and the horrible economy, and he was really down for the count. So therefore, climbing the summit again was even more impressive, although, you know, it's questionable whether that actually happened. So there's that. It's
okay. That's not exactly the one I was looking for. I wanted the one where they were talking about supposedly him saying the N-word. Oh, I've got Trump saying the N-word, just like Omarosa did. Okay, gotcha. She sounded like she was pulling those answers out of her ass. It's just like everybody else that wrote a book about Trump. Everybody's getting rich off this man. Everybody. Omarosa writing a book, John Bolton writing a book, James Comey writing a book, Mary Trump. Everybody's just trying to cash in. They really need to send the man a thank you card because I guess her book is high up there on the bestsellers list or whatever. But I just thought it was really funny, and I wish I had the actual clip where she's just talking about Rachel Maddow is basically asking her the questions so that she could answer yes. She's like, so you heard him say the N-word before, right? She's like, yeah, I did. It's the fakest thing ever, man. These people are so desperate. They're so desperate. I don't even get mad anymore because the only people that watch and consume this garbage already agree. They already think they probably think Trump says the N-word all the time. You could tell them anything about Trump that's negative, even if it's not true, and they'll believe it. They'll buy it. They'll eat it up. So funny. These people just, there's just no end for the Trump derangement syndrome. So that just thought that was funny. Another thing, while we're sharing screens right now, we're going to do another one, guys. What is going on with Kamala Harris? I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but guys, get a load of this. Get a load of this. Okay, guys. What is this? What is going on here? What is going on with Kamala Harris? That is creepy. That is like some straight up, I don't know, demon possession. I don't know what to make of that. I really don't, but it's weird. It's weird stuff. How do I got to go to another. I'm going to get this thing figured out, you guys. I'm trying to share this video. Look at this. Thanks for allowing me to guinea pig this, guys, with you. Okay. What happened to Kamala Harris? Okay. What is going on? Okay, is this CGI? Is this a clone? Is this a deep fake? Look at this woman. Look what happened to her. Look at the cheeks. Look at the cheekbones, guys. I saw this on Twitter and thought, of course, it's Photoshop. Somebody's trolling. Now, to be fair, Kamala Harris is not ugly. I'm just going to give you my opinion. Look at Kamala Harris on the right. At least I think she's a little bit attractive. I'm just going to say it. I think she's a little attractive, especially for being 50 years old. She got a nice little face, nice structure, nice symmetrical face, whatever. What is this on the left here? And then the eyes were like, look at that, all black. I'm sorry I had to go there, guys, but this is part of what's going on. Everything's insane. Why did she get this plastic surgery? She didn't need it. If you look at the picture on the right, yes, she's got the resting bitch face or whatever, but it still is more of a normal face. Now on the left right there, that's just, I'm telling you guys, it just looks like some demonic is going on there. And that's not really too hard to believe right now in this spiritual warfare we're in. And these leftists, they're crazy. We know who they worship. Anyways, guys, that is crazy. What is happening with Kamala Harris? Oh my gosh. Ugh. The eyes are all black, as you can see. All black. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what happened there, but she should have maybe consulted somebody on that before doing it. Anyway, everything was different. Lips are different, all that stuff. Just weird. Everything's weird. I thought there was another video I wanted to share. Since you guys, this is going to make you guys mad, but I have to do it. I have to do it. Yeah, let me just do a little quick search here. Okay. All right. Here we go. Share screen again. Okay, guys. Whoops. I hate that I have to check the sound every time. I have to check the little box to share the audio. Anyway, check this out. Maxine Waters. Sorry, guys.
LAPD amid heightened tension between police and people of color.
You pulled over!
They stopped the brother, so I stopped to see what they were doing.
Oh, okay.
Representative Maxine Waters pulled her SUV in front of a traffic stop last Friday when an officer pulled over a black driver during a burglary investigation. She said the officer threatened to give her a ticket for blocking traffic, but the chair of the House Financial Services Committee received only a warning after she refused to sign the citation. The black driver was also let go with a warning.
Okay, so let's talk about black privilege. Maxine Waters, black woman, career politician, been in politics longer than I've been alive. One of the most well-known poverty pimps in this country. She runs a horrible district, run it into the ground every year. Every other year when it's time for her to get elected, she goes and gives some lip service about reparations and racism. Maxine Waters decided to pull over to investigate a cop that had a black person pulled over, and she was parked illegally in her fancy SUV. She's pulling into the ghetto or whatever part of LA she was in. I'm assuming it wasn't a very nice area. Maybe she was just strolling through her district that she doesn't live in. She pulls over to go and make sure that the cop is taking care of the black person that got pulled over. And all that was a photo op for her. She wanted to look good. I take care of my constituents. She's horrible. This is terrible. And it's black privilege because the cop said, hey, you're illegally parked. I'm going to give you a ticket. She didn't care. And not only did she not care, she didn't get a ticket. This is what I mean by privilege, not even just black privilege. I'm just saying in response to them always talking about white privilege. In reality, it's class privilege. If you got money, you can get away with stuff. There's a two-tier justice system. So that's how she was able to circumvent her way out of getting a ticket. And apparently the driver, whoever was pulled over, didn't get a ticket either. So they both maneuvered their way out of a ticket, and the cop was probably reluctant to ticket the black person that was pulled over because Maxine Waters was there to apply some pressure, to call it racist, to draw attention to this officer when it was probably just a routine traffic stop. But she pulled over. She felt the need to pull over, overstep her boundaries, and interfere while she's double parked in the middle of the street, gets out, walks around, throws her weight around. That, to me, is just nuts. Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, these are the people, these are the swamp creatures, the Loch Ness monsters that must be drained. We got to get these people out of office. It's not just about re-electing Trump. It's about getting these swamp rats out of office. Term limits. And just the privilege, just the arrogance. I'm going to pull over and go investigate this cop, undermine his professional training because I think he might be racist. That's the only reason she pulled over. She saw a black person pulled over. So she decided to go butt in and get out of the car. And of course, she's being praised for it. She get interviewed for it. They talk about it like it's a good thing. And could you just imagine? Close your eyes and imagine a black dude, black officer pulling over a white guy and some random white guy from Congress, some random guy in a position of power, let's say not even in Congress, whatever. He pulls over to go investigate to make sure the black guy's doing his job. You already know what they would be calling it. The whole media would be talking about it for weeks. They would be blaming Trump for it, blaming Republicans, conservatives, and demanding an apology, demanding that guy get fired, demanding his wife get fired. Double standards, hypocrisy. Rules for thee, not for me. We can do whatever we want. We can break the law. We don't care if you know. Just ridiculous. What else did I'm going off of everything that I had in that thumbnail, honestly. What else did I have in that thumbnail? Oh, let's talk about the election. I got to be honest, I do have my doubts. I have my doubts about this election because, and I've said it for weeks now, Trump needs to hold rallies, period. That is the key to his reelection, in my opinion. I don't think he can get away with doing these digital town halls and these tele rallies, whatever they're calling them. That's not going to work. That is not going to work. He has to do in-person rallies, period. And he has to stop playing this coronavirus game. Yes, cases are spiking. He needs to call out what I've been calling out, especially in Florida, where they've been caught fudging the numbers. They've been busted doing this. especially in places like New York, where they put people in nursing homes to drive up the death rate. But in Florida, 2 people just died under the age of 20, I think, in a motorcycle accident, but they listed it as a COVID death, both of them. And we know why they're doing it. So that the news can report, oh, people under the age of 20 are dying from the coronavirus. They died in a motorcycle accident. But they're being the medical examiners are being told to write down coronavirus as the cause of death. And Ron DeSantis, he's just now catching on to this. As of yesterday, he finally said something like, it makes me wonder how many more cases are like this. How many more people actually died of a clear alternate cause, but is being labeled as coronavirus? Trump needs to be all over this. Trump needs to be calling this out instead of tweeting pictures of him in a mask. That's just my take. And he needs to hold these rallies because, yeah, I know it's fun to talk about fake polls. Oh, they had Hillary winning by a landslide in 2016. That's different. That is so different than now. And I'm not saying the polls are real or fake. I'm just saying I'm not going to call them fake when it's very clear that Trump doesn't have the momentum. They could very well be real. See, when Trump was leading in the polls, nobody called them fake polls. But when he's losing, then people are like, oh, those are fake polls. What about Hillary? I think it's a mistake to go off of the polls and say, oh, it's fake. Trump is going to win in a landslide. On paper, he should. On paper, yes. But so much of an election, especially an incumbent election, has to do with the energy, the vibe, the atmosphere of the country, the momentum. How are people doing financially? Those dinner table issues. Are people ever able to pay their mortgage, their rent? Do they have enough money in their savings account? Do they feel comfortable making an investment? How's their business doing? And I'm not saying that's reasons to vote for Joe Biden, but unfortunately, there's a lot of people that will vote based on some single issue like that. They're like, well, this is how things have been going under Trump since the start of this coronavirus. I'm going to vote the other way. I make no mistake. I do think Joe Biden at this state will pick up votes based on how things are going in the country, because that's what Democrats need to win. They need disarray. They need mayhem. They need nonsense. They need people unemployed, because an unemployed person who's getting benefits, $600 a week to be exact, if you're on unemployment, and Democrats are saying, yeah, we want to give you more of this. We're going to make sure you get these benefits extended through blah, blah, blah. They're more likely to vote for Joe Biden. But when things were going well, when the economy was soaring, the stock market was soaring, you had record low this and that favored Trump. When we were actually talking about border security, talking about bringing troops home, talking about trade deals, that's what Trump was able to campaign on. That's what he was doing. That was fun. But now that this coronavirus thing has got a stranglehold on the country and it's derailed his rallies, he can't have rallies. He's not going to have any rallies. I don't know if I'll get to do a right side rally, an actual rally this year, guys. I don't know. He's admitted that until COVID-19 is solved, whatever that means, he's not going to be holding rallies. So I think that hurts him. Doesn't mean he's going to lose, but I don't feel the same level of confidence now that I did at the beginning of the year. And I don't know how anybody who's being honest with themselves could say otherwise. Do you really feel stronger about his chances? Never mind Joe Biden. There are a lot of people who just want Trump gone. And you also have to look at it from the perspective of people who are on the fence. That's how I look at it. I look at it from the perspective of people that I was reaching, people that were seeing my videos for the first time, people that were not politically awakened, people that weren't sure who they were going to vote for. Maybe they wanted Marianne Williamson or Andrew Yang. Maybe they wanted somebody random. They just wanted something different. And now they're stuck with Biden and Trump. Maybe they're like, I don't really know. Well, what are the odds they're going to vote for Trump now? You never know. They still might, but I just think that right now it's not looking as strong as it once was. And then if this mail-in ballot thing happens, they're even pushing it in Florida. They're already mailing out ballots for like smaller elections that are going on. There's an election going on in Orange County of some sort, I guess. They've already mailed out ballots. Republicans are actually getting behind mail-in ballots. I saw something about it this morning. They're getting behind it because they feel like it's going to be inevitable that we're going to be voting by mail. So they might as well support it and get the voter registration up, make sure people know how to do it so they can vote for Trump. I mean, it's a strategy. I don't know that I agree with it, because if everything else is open, if Walmart's open, and if everybody just puts on a mask, then there should be no reason why you can't go vote. What's the difference? What's the difference between going into Walmart or Home Depot waiting in line to buy your lumber or your loaf of bread or whatever the hell you're buying? What's the difference between that and going to vote? If anything, there's less people in there. You're standing in line outside, you go in, you got a little booth that's already set up to be COVID safe. So there should be zero reason that we do mail-in ballots, but Republicans are supporting it. Democrats are mailing out ballots, voter registration, get ready. They've got a whole campaign. They have this whole strategy set up for online, or not online, mail-in voting. And then condemning Trump for saying that, it's going to be ripe with corruption and fraud. There's going to be a lot of fraud. He's not wrong on that. There is going to be fraud. They're going to make sure in states like Florida, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, North Carolina, they're going to make sure that they have that advantage. Unfortunately, the majority of those states have Democrat governors, so they can control the elections and how it's going to go in their state. And of course, Gretchen Whitmer is going to make sure Michigan does mail-in ballots. Of course it's going to happen. I think North Carolina has a Democrat governor too. Florida, luckily, we have Ron DeSantis, but still, the GOP is promoting mail-in ballots. Imagine Andrew Gillum in this situation. Andrew Gillum overseeing the coronavirus and George Floyd protests and mail-in ballots. This state would probably look like California East, guaranteed. So we're lucky that in Florida we have a Republican, but it's still not good enough. It may not be good enough. So I think the election is going to be tight. It's going to be very tight. If it were Bernie Sanders, I think it would still be a landslide, because we're already basically living in Bernie's America. And the majority of people, I think, are not that far left. They're left of center or right of center. So that's Trump and Biden right there. Trump's not that far right. Biden's not that far left. He's an empty vessel for far left. But Joe Biden is not really far left. So it's going to be a very tight race, guys. I don't know. I might be biting my nails on election night. And don't be lying, because you will be too. Let's talk about, since we're on the election topic, let's talk about Kanye West. See, this is another reason I'm like, Trump, you mean to tell me you can't hold rallies, but Kanye West is over here in South Carolina holding rallies? Kanye West held a rally on, was it Saturday or Sunday, over the weekend. Now, I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw the clip that went viral, and I saw a couple other clips. Him talking about Harriet Tubman didn't free the slaves. I don't really care to get into what he said. I just want to talk about the implications of Kanye West on the ballot. And I don't know if he's actually going to be on the ballot. Obviously, he's got no chance at winning. The question is, if he could make it on the ballot, what does that mean? Well, here's my thought. I think it helps Trump tremendously. The reason why? Kanye is way more likely to pull away voters from Biden than he is from Trump. He would get, in my opinion, minimal voters from Trump. Some think, I have some liberal friends that were debating this right when Kanye announced, they're like, do you think that he's going to steal more votes from Trump or Biden? And some of them are saying Trump. I'm like, That's not likely because most people are thinking, oh, he's gonna take the black vote from Trump. I think that's false because the black people, at least the ones I know, and a lot of YouTubers and all that, we're voting for Trump on principle. We're voting for Trump because we understand the situation that America's in right now. And we can't play around voting for a third party candidate. So I don't even think black conservatives, black Trump supporters are taking Kanye seriously. It's not possible. I just don't see it. There will probably be a few, but I don't think it's going to be some astronomical number that would affect Trump. And honestly, Trump doesn't need the black vote. He doesn't. Democrats need the black vote, which is why I say Kanye will pull a whole lot more away from Biden. Because if you think about a lot of people who vote Democrat, this is true because I was one of those people. They vote for superficial reasons. They vote because someone else is voting Democrat. They think it's a good idea. They have these utopian dreams and visions. And they're like, Democrats are good. Republicans are racist, bad, xenophobic, blah, blah, blah. They vote for Democrats for very surface level reasons. Not because of the ideology, not because of the policy. What can anybody name any Joe Biden policies? Not a single one. People aren't even voting for Joe Biden. They're voting against Trump. Let's be real about it. They're voting because they don't like Trump. Their vote is against Trump, not for Biden. I've never seen so many Biden bumper stickers and yard signs and T-shirts and banners until he secured the nomination. So they waited until he was the last person available. And then they're like, yeah, I support Biden. Yeah, right. No, you don't. You supported somebody else that dropped out. And so now you're stuck with Biden. You're just really trying to make a stance that you're anti-Trump. That's what it's about. So I think that there's a whole lot more people who are going to vote for Kanye that would support Kanye over Biden. Number one, because I think he would be a better candidate. Number two, because he black. It's just the truth. It's the truth. I'm just saying it. People, that's how it works. That's how it works. Biden is literally picking his running mate based on the fact that it's a woman and black. Those are the two reasons he's picking a black woman, because of identity, politics, and intersectionality. That's how typical liberal left-wing voters view things, based on identity. So that alone would bring over some votes for Kanye. People also see, hey, it's another option. They weren't excited about Biden to begin with, so they figure, why not vote for Kanye? So that's why I think Kanye would actually pull a whole lot more voters away from Biden than he would Trump. It would definitely hurt Biden. So, hey, maybe Kanye will stay in, and maybe that will help Trump. That's another theory too, is they're like, Kanye's secretly helping Trump win the election. That's why he's doing it, running third party. Kind of like what they did with Jill Stein. Remember, like, Jill Stein, the Green Party, she ruined Hillary. I'm like, no, Hillary ruined Hillary. She was the worst. Anyway, that's all I had to talk about, guys. I guess I'll answer some of your questions and then I'll get off of here because we're right about that 1 hour mark. No Biden signs in Southwest Florida. They're out here. I've seen them. I've seen them in conservative areas too, red areas. Kanye helping get votes for Trump. I'm telling you, I think that's what's going to happen. Leroy said, if you are an adult, act like one, wear a mask when needed. I don't know who you're talking to, but you need to stop listening to Fauci, because even Fauci said, you don't need to wear a mask. And then 5 minutes later, he changes his mind. Get out of here with that. Thank you for the super chat, LD. If you haven't yet, can you talk about Antifa BLM attacking Michelle Malkin at the pro-police rally? Police were present and allowed it to happen. I didn't know about that. I didn't know about it, but it's all just kind of like, man, BLM and Antifa, they get a free pass from these mayors, from the media. Nobody holds them accountable. Nobody. So it doesn't surprise me that they're getting more aggressive. They're getting more violent. If I could describe them, if I could compare them to anything, I would compare them to rebel groups that help to overthrow these countries and, stage these regime changes in the Middle East. That's what they're doing here. They're insurrectionists. They're getting funded. They're getting all this money. They're coming from out of state. They've got their faces covered, which is so convenient because everyone has to wear a face cover, right? To be a responsible adult, like Leroy said. I mean, so they feel like they've got a green light. They've never had this much support behind them. They're doing everything but like actually supporting BLM and Antifa. So, like I said, going back to Tucker Carlson, if they find his address, if they get his address, I think it could potentially be worse this time if they show up at his house. Hopefully he's got the security measures in place, because I definitely don't want that to happen. But I mean, look what they're doing. They have everyone on their side. Look at the couple in St. Louis that just had their firearms confiscated. They're being prosecuted. So for Michelle Malkin, hopefully she's got some security. I didn't actually see the video, but I think it's all messed up, man. These people are just insane. They want blood. It takes an evil person to want to commit this kind of violence, to threaten somebody, to hurt someone. I mean, it's just evil. My point, Leroy said, my point is you don't need the president to tell you to wear a mask. I don't know who said that they did need that. I certainly don't need that. I don't need anybody to tell me that. All Tucker needs is 2 Dobermans. Did you see me juggling in Portsmouth? No, I didn't. I didn't see anybody juggling there. Any other questions, guys, before I go? Any topics that I did not cover? There's got to be at least one thing I didn't cover. There's probably like 10 things I didn't cover. I could talk about Portland, but honestly, I've not followed that story. I've not followed that story because it just didn't interest me. Just like Chaz. I mean, the West Coast is by far the most far left part of our country. It's a communist stronghold. Seattle, Portland, Berkeley, the West Coast is gone. It's pretty much full communists, full-blown communists. The mayors, the governors, they don't care. So it comes as no surprise. Antifa's been doing what they've been doing. Now all of a sudden they're saying, oh, it's Black Lives Matter. We're doing it because George Floyd died. No, you're not. You've been doing this. I remember a couple years ago, Antifa clashing with the Proud Boys, Patriot Prayer. So this is just an ongoing thing. I don't see any difference other than now they've got Trump sending in the feds, and of course, Ted Wheeler, like the puppet he is, he's blaming Trump for it. It's so funny. It's so funny. These leftist mayors blame all of their city's problems on Trump. Oh, it's his rhetoric. It's stuff he's saying on Twitter. He's fueling this. I'm like, that's why your city sucked for 50 years? Okay. Because Trump's in office in 2020 and he tweeted something. Oh, Trump said Baltimore's full of rats and crimes. Yeah, what did he get wrong? Is it not true? Was it not full of rats and crime before he was elected? Did Chicago not have a lot of murders before he was elected? See, they're always trying to outsource blame. Just get tired of it. I just get so tired of it. But I just think these areas are very like evil. I think it's like the enemy strongholds. You think about places like Seattle and Portland where there's not a lot of churches. There's not a lot of religion. There's not a lot of divine energy there. I think about certain cities where evil can kind of fester and it's reflected in the leadership. It's reflected in the crime. It's reflected in the citizens and the morale of the area. Like when I went to Washington, D.C. for the first time a couple years ago, I felt the energy. I could feel like the corruption. You could sense it. It just had a lot of tense, like, I don't know. It's hard to describe, but I could just sense it. It just feels like that's an evil place. And obviously it is, with the corruption and a lot of stuff going on in that city. New York, the abortion capital, is probably the same thing. I've never been in New York, but I would think that that's an enemy stronghold. Chicago, I've been there several times, in Southside Chicago. There are places where you just don't even want to stop. You will damn near run a red light so you don't have to stop at an intersection. Places like New Orleans, where they, you know, voodoo and all that kind of stuff they do down there. Just wicked stuff, guys. So Seattle, Portland, Chicago, Washington, D.C., New York, L.A., with what's going on in Petalwood. These are all just enemy strongholds. This is where leftists, communists, Marxists, totalitarians, they can just thrive in these areas. It's their territory. Wherever you take God out, wherever God is not welcome, the enemy will claim it as territory. I kid you not. If you look back to, and I remember reading about this a couple of years ago, back in the late 90s, right before Columbine happened, right before we had a long string of school shootings, right before that, God was taken out of the schools. They stopped saying the Pledge of Allegiance. They stopped talking about God. And then boom, shootings happen. I'm not saying that's the reason why, but Brent said, awesome work you do, Mike. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate all you guys, man. Thank you so much for watching me on this Tuesday at 2 o'clock, middle of the day. I appreciate everybody. And you guys really gotta share my stuff, man. Please get the word out on Facebook, because the whole reason I started using this new platform, StreamYard, is so I could go live simultaneously on Facebook and YouTube. On Facebook, I could get like 2,000-3,000 people watching. And now they've quarantined my page. YouTube, I got it. YouTube's got to carry the weight now. So you guys are going to get a lot more content from me on here. So I appreciate everybody that likes, shares. I've got new subscribers now. Shout out to all you guys that are new. Make sure you hit the bell notification. That's the only way you will ever see my content. I don't make videos every 5 minutes, so you won't be annoyed by that. I definitely know what it's like to have the notifications turned on and then you have to turn them off because the person just posts way too much. That's not this channel. But I also know that if you don't have notifications turned on, you probably won't see my stuff. I'm subscribed to, I don't even know how many channels, and I never see their stuff because I don't have the notifications turned on. I have to go in and actually type in, like, is Kevin's Corner still on YouTube? I have to go like look at these pages to see that they've made videos, because they don't pop up in my news feed. They're not shown on the homepage. They're just not promoted. That's the way it is. You know, they've really put their thumbs on the scales. It's like, I get it. You want to promote authoritative news, but why can't you give the people what they've subscribed to? Why can't you give them their content? Why can't they have a customized news feed where it's just the stuff they want to see, instead of trying to cram Fox News and CNN down our throats? Why can't I get the stuff that I've subscribed to? So it's a very long-winded way of saying, make sure you guys hit the bell notification. Make sure you support me on BitChute, because who knows if I'll get my Facebook back. Who knows how long this channel will be around. Make sure you subscribe to me on BitChute. Make sure you subscribe to my backup channel. I do believe my backup channel is in the description as well. I might have taken it out because I haven't done a whole lot on there recently, but it should be in there. Make sure you're subscribed. Follow me on Twitter. I'm starting to heat up on Twitter. I got to fill the void of Facebook, guys. Like, I I had some withdrawal symptoms. I just did, man. Facebook was the one-stop shop for me. I could post videos, I could post articles, I could go live, I could do everything on there, post pictures, all the things, memes, and I was reaching a lot of people. I have like 63,000 followers there, and it was growing fast, really fast. I'm on Parler too. I'm trying to like it. It's not amazing, but it's another platform. I mean, I post there. At least it's the interface is intuitive. I can figure out it's basically like Twitter. I don't know. I mean, I just say I posted on Parler. I don't know what else to say to describe it. Like, oh, I echoed something. I guess that means retweeted. But I mean, so far from what I've gathered on Parler, it's an echo chamber. And what would be the point of just talking to only people that already agree when we're trying, at least that should be the goal, to reach people who haven't yet seen the light, to people who think that Fauci and Bill Gates and their governor wants to keep us safe. Those are the people that need to see some of my stuff. They need to see anybody's stuff that doesn't toe the line, somebody with a different perspective. Dr. Shiva, Anomaly, Anthony Brian Logan, myself, Brandon Tatum. Those are, you know, that's why I stay on Facebook and Twitter. People are like, I leave these platforms. I'm done with Facebook. I'm like, Facebook's going to have to kick me off, and they may have just done it. Because that's where there's a plethora of people who need to hear what I have to say. If I just went to these alt tech platforms, then I'm just going to see, you know, my message is just going to fall on the ears of people who already agree. Anyways, I'm going to sign off, guys, but I do appreciate everybody who's watching. My throat is dry today, guys, and raspy voice. I don't know why, but I'll be back soon. I'm sure there's going to be something for me to make a video about in the next half an hour. I mean, these people can't behave. We can't have nice things in America. So it's just a matter of time before there's something else for me to say, another video that I have to make. But I think I've covered all the nonsense up until this point. Mandatory mask indoors, house arrest, endless racism. Everything's Trump's fault. Even if it's been run by a Democrat for 50 years, still Trump's fault. But yeah, that's it. I don't see anything trending on Twitter right now. There's obviously some other stuff I could talk about, but I won't because this channel is still monetized and the algorithms have been fair to me. So I'm not going to go down that path, but we all know that there's other things going on that I could cover, but just not going to do it right now. We'll save it for a later time. Anyways, God bless you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow me on all the social media accounts except for Facebook. And I'll catch you guys in the next stream. And thank you, Papa Cryptos, for the super chat that just came in last second. God bless you. Catch me in the next live stream. I'll be back soon. Later.